Man United have got a chance to bounce back from a terrible performance against Newcastle with a match against Burnley at the weekend. Let's have a look at the preview. Hello, welcome to Stretford Paddock. My name is Joe. That is Alex. How you doing?
I'm very okay.
I'm very okay.
I was going to say very good because I usually am, but
Yeah.
there's that Newcastle game still back of the mind.
Pretty poor, wasn't it? We'll put that behind us to a certain extent. We're going to have to look a little bit at what happened there and how that's going to affect things moving forward. But we're going to be going through the Burnley game, big game coming up. It's one of those games on this run of games where the matches are winnable. We should be winning these games. And you know what? Despite the performances, we are unbeaten under Rangnick. That's worth remembering. We've only conceded a couple goals under him. Worth remembering.
One in the Premier League, yeah.
One in the Premier League. As bad as it's been, or as bad as the Newcastle game was, there are some causes for optimism, but not many.
No, there wasn't many after that Newcastle game. There was some after the Palace game. There was some good signs to that. But since then, we've not really had a performance. The Young Boys game was pretty much nothing. It was very rotated teams, all sorts of different players playing in different positions. You then came into the Norwich game expecting the same as the Palace game almost, if not better, and it definitely regressed there. And it was a similar kind of performance against Newcastle where the structure of the pressing wasn't there. I think they kind of stuck in between maybe their old ways and new ways, and not everyone was doing it together. And then going forward, I think that the criticism of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was that there was no pattern of play, and I think people were expecting straight away something to happen. Now, whether that's because of he wants it to be certain personnel that do it and maybe they're not quite capable, I think that already we've seen the importance of the fullbacks, and I think that whilst Tellers and Delo have been good, I still think they're not. If you look at how good Liverpool's fullbacks are, you look how good City's fullbacks are, they're not close. Even if you say the good fullbacks, Delo's all right, even if you bring Luke Shaw in, they're not the same level as those fullbacks. And if they're going to be the creative outlets, if they're going to be the width that Carragher was talking about that on Sky Sports, that's where the width needs to come from, or someone needs to bring that, then maybe it's not going to quite happen just yet, and it might take a little bit of time. But no, there hasn't been too many positives since then. The only one really being we haven't conceded that many goals, mainly, though, down to probably David De Gea than good defending, though. Yeah,
especially against Newcastle, we conceded so many chances against them. One of the interesting points before the game that ended up being a talking point during the game as well was no Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
He's someone that I think has hit his stride, or is beginning to hit his stride as a Man United player. Scored in the Champions League, scored against Chelsea as well, starting to get a couple of goals. His performances are increasing. You thought he looked very good when he came on. One of the few players that seem to be either capable or willing of actually dribbling past people, going past people, putting the ball in the box. I thought he looked good against Newcastle. He has to start, doesn't he, this game? And there were rumours of maybe he was part of the group that got COVID a couple of weeks ago. Maybe that was to do with why he didn't play, which is understandable if so. But if he's fit, he has to play because we look so stagnant in the final third. He's one of the few players who not only can score, but really has an eye for creating as well.
Yeah, I think out of all the players that kind of fit this system, this 4-2-2 that everyone's kind of talked about, and people are saying, is it right, is it wrong, whatever it is, that Rangnick's going to stick with a little bit. I think he's going to probably stick with this for a while. Yeah. Is that he kind of fits this better. He's kind of that number 10 that kind of drifts inside, can play out wide. He can do all those things, and I think that he probably fits this mould and fits that inside forward number 10 that kind of Rangnick plays with probably better than anyone in the squad. I think he's better than Rashford at it. I think Bruno will take some time. Maybe Pogba, if he comes back, will probably fit into that kind of role. But no, I think Sancho fits that, and I think it has to be a fitness thing to why he didn't start the other night, because there's been nothing in his last few performances that says you're the one that doesn't start. There's arguments for Marcus Rashford, how he's played. Mason Greenwood hasn't been amazing, especially when he's played further back in these first few games under Rangnick. So for me, Sancho was the one that had to start. So hopefully we see him back. Like you said, there's the rumours around COVID, and I think that United, as well as a lot of clubs, are keeping a few of the ones that have had it close to the chest and not kind of saying he had it, they've had it. But if it was the case, I'm guessing that him and maybe a couple of others were ones that got rested, and why he wasn't playing this week.
Yeah, I think he needs to be in that team, doesn't he? He? Like you said, he offers so much that others aren't currently offering.
And even that
whether
little
they're
glimpse,
capable of it or not.
That little glimpse towards the end of the game when he went past a couple of players and you just went, that's the spark we needed. And I think that, Ronaldo's not going to do that anymore. He's trying to get on the end of things. And when he dropped deep, he was, and Bruno was trying these longer passes or whatever. But Sancho was, trying to go players, committing players. And and was causing problems. And if it wasn't for Cavani being a little bit offside, we might have had a chance towards the end of the game, completely created by Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, definitely. The midfield is another talking point that's been a talking point for too long now. I'm sick of this. You know, whether it's Pogba or Fred or McTominay or Donny, we're talking about that midfield all the time. And the reason we're talking about it is because it isn't good enough. Regardless of who's playing, our midfield hasn't been good enough for basically since Sir Alex left. Basically, since Paul Scholes retired, Manchester United's midfield has been subpar or suboptimal. And you look at the current crop, it's, you know, Fred and McTominay playing most weeks. Some of that's down to the fact that Paul Pogba's injured probably, although we yet to see how he'll fit in under Rangnick. But it's not good enough. And every single week, the middle of the pitch, which is the most important part of the pitch, the position, the place on the pitch that ties together attack and defence, is poor.
Yep.
How long can we go on like this? Because, you know, we keep talking about managers, and we've got a new manager now, and there are a lot of problems that aren't just Fred and McTominay's fault. I understand that. And Fred's had a bit of a renaissance, but he got pulled off at half-time the other day.
Yeah.
You know, we saw the worst of Fred. He can't pass. He's not very good on the ball. And what he is good at defensively, he often undermines by acting as though he hasn't got a brain. Like I've mentioned it a couple of times, but when McTominay got fouled, I thought, but no foul given, he's on the floor. What Fred needs to do is drop back, consolidate, cover the defence, and allow the players to come at him. Instead, he just dives in for a tackle. They've gone round him, and they're attacking straight on the defence. That's just mindless defending.
Yeah. I think everyone's expecting when Solskjaer got sacked that you wouldn't see a Fred McTominay midfield, and then the 3 Premier League games since he's left, that's it. I mean, even the Chelsea and I think Arsenal game they both played. They played every game since Solskjaer's left. I think that was one of the criticisms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I think, you know, rightly so, of his tactics wasn't quite right. But to say his personnel, that's probably what the best we've got. I think there's the questions over Donny van der Beek, and I think there's the questions over Nemanja Matic. They're just. Obviously, you've now got 3 managers, essentially. Now, Carrick, obviously, is an interim and only had a couple of games, and Rangnick's only had a couple of games. But they've all looked at the choice of the 4 or 5 midfielders that we've got in the squad and gone, to be honest, to complement who we've got ahead of us, we need to play Fred and McTominay. And it's a worrying situation. And like you said, we've been the same way since Fergie kind of retired. And then you had Lou Van Gaal, you know, Moyes was linked to all these midfielders, ended up just getting Fellaini. It didn't work. Then Van Gaal went, do you know what, I'll sign 6. And I think he signed Herrera, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin. You know, he signed a lot of midfielders. Blind probably in there as well. Yeah. And then it kind of went again, and we've not had it right since the likes of Carrick, Fletcher, Scholes have kind of retired, which is, we shouldn't be talking about those players now, but we've not had it right since then. We've been linked to so many players. We've been linked to so many, you know, the creative box to box, the number 6, we've been linked to all of them, but not actually got them over the line. We've got Fred, who I still think isn't quite right for whoever's in there. I think that he's good, but not quite there. I think you need to upgrade. So it's a tough decision, because I just don't think that there's no right option at the minute. It's just finding something that works, finding something that kind of fits together, and hope from there.
Yeah, and I'm not usually one to give it the old, just try harder. But some of the comments Rangnick was saying after that game, talking about getting to second balls, talking about not mentally but physically being there, being strong physically. These are the sort of fundamental, Sunday League type tactics where you go, you just need to fucking work harder. Yeah. You need to put your body on the line. You need to be more willing to try hard. And that's a really poor thing to hear the manager saying after 3 games, isn't it?
But you watch Liverpool, and I hate to compare to Liverpool and City, but they are the top 2 teams in the country. Yeah. You watch when City play, and I watched the Boxing Day game against Leicester, and the amount of fouls that Rodri does, the amount of fouls that Fernandinho does, the amount of fouls that Mahrez does at the right times, and you just go, it doesn't look like much, but it breaks up the play, and there's no counter-attack. Just because they've been clever and put a foul in, put a tackle in, whether it's a booking or not, they just do it. And the same thing with Liverpool. Liverpool's whole game is winning second balls. That's all they do better than most teams. They've got bits of quality here and there, but a lot of it is put a good ball in and attack it and do well with that and win a second ball. And there's glimpses of brilliance. You've got Salah doing things, and Mane's got a bit of quality as well. But it's a lot of just winning second balls, and that's what United aren't doing. You know, the amount of times we put a ball forward and it's up towards Rashford, and yes, he doesn't win the header, which he's not expected to win all of them. But we never win this, like you said, not win the second one. Tellers isn't flying through. There isn't someone else flying in. Because I think, you know, this whole model of this gegenpressing is, if you win that second ball further up the pitch, if you win it in the central area, it's more creative than what someone can do with a pass, because you've bypassed 6 players, you've won the ball, and now you've got 2 passes and you can have a shot.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it. And if you don't win them second balls, it's pointless.
Yeah, exactly. We've spoke about who should be playing. Let's get your predicted 11.
Yeah.
Get yours in at home as well. Show us who you think should be playing for Manchester United against Burnley. Today's show is brought to you by SPITCH. SPITCH is a free fantasy football game available in the UK and Ireland to everyone over the age of 18. SPITCH is a fantasy football manager app that allows you to build your own team and battle it out against other managers. Play for free, compete against your friends in communities with a chance to win over £70,000 in weekly prizes. So first of all, you choose your pitch, which all have different rules and games. Some have a cost to enter and some are absolutely free and allow you to win some amazing prizes. There's weekly competitions as well as full fantasy seasons, so there's loads of competitions to enter. There's also tons of stats in the app, which allows you to build the perfect team and select who you want as your captain every week. To download SPITCH, make sure you click the link in the description to get started and play straight away. It is now available in the UK and Ireland, but you must be over 18 to play. Make sure that you check out the terms and conditions and be gamble aware. Let's have a look at your predicted 11.
So my 11 for this game, David De Gea in goal. That's, I think, an easy decision at the minute. Don't think that any question towards that. Dalot, I think, was maybe one of the okay performances against Newcastle. I thought he was all right. I don't see a change in Varane and Maguire, as much as people are going to be screaming for Harry Maguire to be dropped. I don't see that happening. I don't think Eric Bailly comes in. There's question marks over Lindelof's fitness. I don't think he's going to be fit. And also you've got... the only other question in there is Phil Jones. There's not a chance he's getting thrown in. Left back, I think Luke Shaw deserves a chance to get himself back into the team and to do something and to try that. I've gone with Van der Beek in midfield. And this isn't. I think he's earned his way into the squad and all this kind of stuff and whatever. Because I have my question marks over him. But McTominay obviously came off towards the end. Didn't look right, and I just don't see Nemanja Matic starting the game of football. I just think that's not going to happen. But again, wouldn't be surprised at that. So I've gone Van der Beek and Fred, and then Jadon Sancho comes in. Obviously Bruno injured. They've probably had Bruno in there as well, but Marcus Rashford keeps his place. I don't think he's played great, but again, I think in that system, I think that he probably does a little bit more than Mason. Because I want to have Cavani and Ronaldo up front. I've got to have, it's got to be Cavani and Ronaldo. I don't think that you're going to drop Cristiano Ronaldo for anyone at the minute. And I think Cavani with his goal and he's just everything about him, I think that he offers a lot more. So I think that's the system we're going to go for. I said, wouldn't be surprised if it's Van der Beek further forward and maybe McTominay is fit or Matic comes in there. But that's kind of how I see it going for this week.
And Bruno's suspended.
Yeah, Bruno's suspended.
5 yellow cards he's got now, so that's why he's not going to be in either of our team. I like that team. The only question mark would be over Shaw, I think. Does he deserve that? Tellez hasn't blown me away, I'll be honest. He's been okay and he hasn't made glaring mistakes, but I don't feel like he offered that much going forward, and defensively he's all right, but he's not tearing the world apart. I'll have a look at my team then. We've got obviously De Gea, I think that's goes without saying. I've gone Dalot. Again, I almost wish that sort of Luke Shaw was right-footed or Tellez was right-footed, because I'd like to have Shaw and Tellez on the pitch. I think they're our best 2 attacking fullbacks, but obviously that doesn't work. So I've gone with Dalot there, who I think he's decent, but he's just poor at one-on-ones. It's literally like the opposite of Wan-Bissaka. Yeah. He's a good crosser, but one-on-ones he just gets skinned over and over again. Yeah. Varane and Maguire, as poor as they both were the other day, like you said, it's either Phil Jones or is Eric Bailly fit? What's going on with him? Has he got COVID? Who knows what's going on? Not even on the bench the other day. So I think it'll be them. And I've gone the same with Luke Shaw. I think he's had a couple of weeks off. He's had a rest. He's probably had a bit of a bollocking. Now is the time to give him another go.
Yep.
And also Tellez, he's gone from barely playing for a year to all of a sudden he's going to be playing 3 games in 8 days. I know obviously he should be fit as a footballer, but we know match fitness is a real thing, and he just plays every week for us now, does he? And he's meant to be capable of doing that. So I've gone with him. I've took Fred and McTominay both out. Okay. I'm so sick of that after the other day. I know that I've sat here occasionally going, Fred could be on his way back. It's just one game good, one game bad, one game good, one game bad. Like goal concedingly bad every game. or every other game, and then every other game, he was really good today, loads of tackles. I'm sick of it at the minute. I think if anyone needs to be dropped, they need to be dropped. So I've gone Van der Beek and Matic. Then I've also dropped Marcus Rashford. I just think he's been really poor. So I've gone with Sancho on the left, Greenwood on the right, in behind Cavani and Ronaldo. Ideally, I'd like to drop Ronaldo as well. Not because he's been so bad or he's been our most productive striker, he's been our most important striker, probably our most important player this season, single-handedly pretty much taken us through the Champions League group stage, but he's not getting involved. No. And he stood there throwing his arms around, being pissed off after the 5th minute because someone didn't make a pass to him. Like, give it more than 5 minutes.
I know, yeah.
Make the run again. See if they give it you that time. And then if they don't, go in at half-time and say, I'm making these fucking... You don't need to be remonstrating on the pitch all the time because it puts a bad atmosphere around. It makes it obvious that there's problems, and I don't think it's good. So ideally, I would have liked to have had Bruno in there, put Greenwood up front with Cavani, but, Ronaldo's Ronaldo. I'm not disappointed he's playing by any means.
The other thing I like about that system, and because Matic played as centre-half for... against Young Boys, didn't he? The only thing I could see maybe, and Matic kind of dropped in there the other night, is playing 3 at the back. There was a rumour, I think, after the game yesterday that Rangnick may switch from this 4-2-2 to 3-4-2. Well, I don't know how you get him to, but kind of switch away from that, having maybe 3 at the back. And without anything mad, you could probably say that Matic kind of drops in there, kind of as a number 6 or as a centre half, and then you have them going a bit further forward. How those players kind of congeal together, but probably more similar, like you've got there, similar to what it was the other night. It's almost just like, you lads just go for it and see what we can do.
Yeah, and this
against a team like Burnley, we should be able to do.
And this team is, yes, obviously there's not obvious, 2 number 6s in there. I know Donny's a bit more freelance, or free roam. It's freelance at the minute. They should do that.
Freelance football.
Yeah, just let him play for United once every 3 weeks, and he can play for another team like Ronaldo does for Paddock FC. But there's no Fred and McTominay in there. But I just think they struggle so badly to get the ball to the attacking players in good areas. Matic can pass, Donny can pass. Fred and McTominay can't.
No.
Certainly, Fred his short passing is diabolical. So. I think that'll help link the play a bit better.
I think we're going to talk about opposition as well. I think Matic just played a lot of games against Burnley as well, just for the fact that they're going to have 2 centre forwards.
That's a good point.
You're going to do that. You're going to have a lot of just balls pelted forward, trying to win headers, and Matic is all right.
And you might see McTominay there for that reason as well.
Yeah, hopefully not Matic and McTominay. Again, Adam McCullough, I think, hates that more than anything. Yeah. It's the most... slowest midfield I think we could possibly put in there. But, I wouldn't be surprised to see Matic, like you said, or McTominay kind of in that role just for winning a few headers and extra that, because it's going to be that kind of game, innit? Especially defensively. Yeah,
speaking of that kind of game, Burnley then currently 18th, 11 points, 2 points shy of safety. Not the best recent run of form. They've been shit this season. They're one of those teams that usually you go, they're plodding along. They're not plodding along. The one saving grace for them this season so far is they've played 4 less games than some teams. I think Arsenal, Leeds, a few other teams around them, Newcastle have played 19
Did you
games.
say Arsenal around them?
No, but a few teams in the league have played 19.
Yeah.
They've only played 15. They got games snowed off. They had games COVIDed off as well. So that's their saving graces. If they win a couple of those games, they can be out of the bottom 3. But they've been poor this year, haven't they?
They have. But I am worried by looking at those last 5. Draw, loss, draw.
Yeah.
Another draw just seems... It worries me. But yeah, the thing with Burnley, I think Gary Neville kind of summed up. This is since Burnley have coming back in the Premier League, I think they've been in there for nearly 10 years now they've been up. Premier League, something like that. They've been up for a while. They've been up for a while now. They've been kind of stabilised in there. This is the only time that I think everyone's kind of gone, this is their year. And usually by this time, they get kind of like, the 13th, they'll be okay. They're not going to do anything. But this is the first time you've gone, do you know what? This could be the time they go down. The teams that are around them that, you're catching up to, Newcastle, everyone talks about that in January. Leeds, if they get a couple of their players back, were a lot better. Watford, who I think whilst we're recording this are 1-0 up, I think, in a game. So they're doing all right. Those things can change straight away. So it that could happen. And there is a bit of worry about them. But as always with Burnley, they've got a threat because they're gonna win balls in the air. They're gonna challenge the likes of especially Rafael Varane and Harry Maguire. Yeah. And we've not had the best of results against them.
And this is just going to sound stupid, and it's almost back to that sort of fundamental just try hard attitude that Burnley definitely have, undoubtedly have. They don't have a lot of, searing talent and quality through that squad. But United struggle so badly against teams who are well drilled, who try hard, will go for every second ball, will fight every ball in the air. And it's old-fashioned, stupid, rubbish, sort of low IQ, low intelligence football. But we can't deal with it. And we've seen it. We couldn't deal with it against Newcastle. We couldn't deal with it against Norwich. We couldn't deal with it in tons of games this season already. So, like I said, I'm slightly worried about this game. That takes us on to predicted score lines. I'll go first while you're having a think. I think this is going to be horrific. I think it's going to be a shit game where you really start to question what this team is all about. I think we'll hopefully pull through with a win. I can't see them not scoring. I think 2-1, but I think it's going to be a gross game. 2-1 United. It's going to be horrible. Look how bad we were the other day. How can we just turn that around like that? This is a team, hopefully, that comes out with the tail between the legs a little bit because they've had an absolute bollocking from Rangnick and his staff. But 2-1, I think it's going to be horrible.
I'm going to go 3-1 United.
Confident.
Not confident. Probably similar kind of game to how you're describing.
Yeah.
But once we get the second, Burnley go, we've got a score now, and we nick another one or a penalty.
I'll take
something like that. That's kind of how I see it going. I don't see it being if it's 3-1. But I still think we've got enough there to score 3 goals. Yeah. Even whoever plays, we should be able to score goals. It's one of them. United score early against Burnley, will comfortably beat them. But we've not scored early against with Rangnick in charge yet. We've not kind of challenged people. And, hopefully they come out flying.
That'd
hopefully, if Cavani starts, I'm more confident. I think that if he comes out flying, there's every chance. And if we can get that early goal, I think it changes it completely.
Me too. Before we go, are you a member of the channel? If you are, you have already been automatically entered for the 12 Days of Paddock giveaway, where every day for 12 days, we are giving a gift, a prize to one of our lucky members. If you aren't already a member, click the join button in the comments, in the description, and you will be eligible for every remaining gift. At the end, on January the 6th, we are giving away a Sony PlayStation 5. You can't get them in shops, and one of our members will win that. So if you're not a member, click the join button. It helps out the channel. You also get extra videos, extra content, discount on merch, all sorts of good stuff, and entry to every single one of those giveaways. So make sure you hit join before it's too late. Thank you very much for joining us. Cheers, Alex.
Thank you very much, mate.
Big game coming up against Burnley. It shouldn't be called a big game.
Shouldn't be a big game,
but the performances recently warrant that title. Thank you very much for joining us. Get your score predictions in the comments below. We'll see you in a bit.